Oh, here we are. How's that? Better? You can probably hear me now. This button needs to be a bit better. So, hello, and welcome to the next edition of Saturday Chat Live, episode 23, 20 something. It's good for you to stop by the channel, and watch the stream. It's a huge day here where I am at in the city of Cincinnati. I'm not going to sit and talk about the Super Bowl for a whole lot of time, but it's a massive event, obviously here in the U.S. in general, but also in our beloved city that I live in here in Cincinnati, Ohio. It's been many years since we've been in this position, 33, I think, 33 years. So I was just not even a teenager yet, I don't think, the last time this happened. So the city is extremely excited. If I talk about it too much, I will actually get emotional. But yeah, it's a huge weekend here, and I'm looking forward to enjoying Super Bowl weekend with our hometown Cincinnati Bengals. I have my shirt on, living the dream. So we'll see how it all goes. So it's going to be a great weekend. So if you are new to the channel, if you're new to the stream, just want to give you sort of a lay of the land on how this works. So I tend to go for about 30 minutes to an hour, depending on how many questions we have, how many comments we have. Speaking of questions and comments, if you do have those, please go ahead and start dropping those into the chat, and I will, bring them up on screen and answer them the best I can. Keep in mind that I can't always get to every question, and I can't always answer every question on the spot because I'm not a human, Wikipedia or anything, so I don't have everything in my head right here all the time, but I do keep notes, as you can see here. I have my little notepad here that I can take notes on. So yeah, so if you have a question, comment, that's why we're here. Please go ahead and put it in the stream. It doesn't have to be about statistics or anything like that. It can be a general comment or question if you have them. I also like to know how you're doing. So if you're here in the stream live, please put in the chat where you are watching from. I always like to know where people are watching from. Gives me sort of context on who I'm, hopefully helping out there, whoever, wherever in the world you might tend to be. So, yeah, George, what's up, buddy? George, good to see you, my friend. KC born, but congrats to the Bengals. Thank you very much. We're very happy here. I like the city of Kansas City. It's a really cool place. It's like kind of a secret place. There's a lot of really cool things going on in Kansas City that people don't realize. So hope to get back there at some point. I've been there once or twice. So, all right, Glenn, what's up, buddy? Good to see you. You're doing some wonderful things. I did get your message on LinkedIn, so I'll do my best to maybe get to that at some point. But you're right. I have to pull out the finite math, files I have over here to figure out exactly how I can answer your question about eigenvectors, of course, which are direction matrices that determine direction, and eigenvalues, which are the magnitude or the size of those that direction. So I can maybe take a look and work with you to see what else other questions you might have. So yeah, who else is in the chat? Let me know where you're chatting, where you're from, and we'll start going on questions here. A few things I do want to get out of the way. As always, super chats and PayPal tips are welcome. It helps the channel out. Obviously, I don't do YouTube full time, so I kind of have to do it when I have time and when I have the resources to do it. So if you have a couple dollars, it helps me go up to the coffee shop, get a cup of coffee, and sit and work for a few hours. That can go a long way. It also helps with getting the videos professionally captioned for viewers who maybe aren't native English speakers or are watching in an environment where they have to have the captions on instead of the audio. So that's how I use whatever funds I can get. So I'm not going to sit here and beg and bother you too much, but any super chats, PayPal tips, go right to the channel. You're not going to see me posting photos on LinkedIn next to my new Tesla or my large house or a exotic vacation destination or anything like that. That's not, really me. However, I will work my ass off to make sure that you can have those pictures. So if you can help me out a little bit, then I will help you out the best I can in terms of making more content, right? So, all right. I'll wait for some more comments to come in here, some more questions and comments. So I dropped a new video on YouTube this week. It's on the log transform. It's in the series of videos where I'm talking about variable transformations in order to get them in a format that is more along the lines in the terms of regression, what regression likes and what it wants in order to perform optimally. So I'm going to do some more videos on transformations over the next few weeks, and then we'll see how that goes. All right, and I have many more plans after that. As far as content, I have content planned for like the next 10 years. There's so many things I would love to do, just a matter of time. So if you haven't checked out the video on the log transformation, the logarithmic transformation, please do so. Actually, the last 10 videos I've released, it's been the best performing, because I think people, are familiar to some extent with the log transform and log transformations. They've seen them in certain places, and actually, I watched a show. It's a great show. It's sad and disturbing, but it's called Dope Sick. It's about the opioid crisis here in the U.S. And this actually came up in one of the charts that was used as evidence, where the pharmaceutical company modified the y-axis to be logarithmic, so it misrepresented the amount of opioid in the patient's blood. So it's kind of how to lie with statistics, and actually the way the lie was perpetuated was with the logarithmic transformation. So that's the show of Dope Sick. If you want to check that out, I do believe it's on Hulu, I believe. All right, first time here from Napa, California. Oh, I'd love to go out to California, Napa Valley. Been to San Francisco once. Had a good time there. I hope to go back. I kind of want to go on a West Coast trip, just Northern California, Oregon, Washington. I love it out there. That's kind of like my the place where my heart resonates. I'd love to go live in the mountains, not too far from, the Cascades and then the ocean on the west side. I'd love to live out maybe in Oregon or something sometime. But good. It's great to see you. Thanks for coming by the channel. It's good to see you. So what else we got going on? So as of right now, I'm planning on doing a live stream in 2 weeks. The caveat to that is that I will be out of town. So if I do the live stream, I will have to do it remotely, which is I've not done before. I don't think it would be that much of a lift to do that, but it might be it won't be maybe as fancy as what you see here, but in 2 weeks I will be out of town unless plans change, which they could, I guess, of weather or whatever else. But yeah, so we'll be here in 2 weeks on the 26th, I believe it will be. So make sure to stop by then. All right, let's see here. All right. So I have a hard time understanding the intuition of why dropping a variable from the true regression model reduces the variance of our coefficients for the other predictors that are still in the model. So what's the best way I can explain this? A part of it has to do with the diminishing returns as variables are entered into a model. So, the variable that enters, the first variable that's usually entered into a model is the one that explains the most variance. And then there's remaining variance. And then we go to the next variable that explains the next most variance. And then it's a diminishing return sort of after that. And it has to do with the idea also of overfitting a model. So if we put in a lot of variables into a model, that model will overfit. And then when we expose new data to that model, we have high amounts of variance because the model is so tailored to the original data. That's the classic overfitting situation. So we're trying to strike the balance between underfitting and overfitting so that the model is trained or developed well based on the data we are putting into it, but it also is flexible enough not to overfit when we have new data, and that's where that extra variance can creep in. So if we put new data points into the model and it doesn't do a good job at predicting them, then of course the errors are going to be very high. So it has to do with that sort of dynamic as well. So I hope I answered that question the best I could, based, just sort of live here. But if you have any other questions about that, just, you can ask another question here or just ping me on LinkedIn or whatever else you might want to do about that question. So let's see. Glenn asks, I'm doing a presentation on Wednesday evening on how to summarize categorical data with Python and extract quantitative data to explore a data set. Planning on stopping before getting to regression. Glenn, I'm trying to figure out if you have a specific question about that. I admit I'm not a Python expert, if that's the question. Summarizing categorical data is almost always done with, tables. Think of like a pivot table, right? So categorical data can be put into certain contingency tables where summary statistics can be done, like a pivot table could be. Categorical data is often used, we can just count them. Categorical data is often used to divide things into groups as well. So we can break things out into groups with that categorical data. So summarizing categorical data it depends on what you want to do with it. It also depends off if categorical data you mean by dummy variables, which in theory are categorical, but they're also coded quantitatively, of course. So yeah, it just depends on the implementation. If I can, clarify that, just let me know, and I will definitely try to do so. All right. Okay, what else we got going on here? Comments, questions, please put those in the chat and I will put them up on the screen. So a couple of things going forward. Like I said, I'm going to continue the series on variable transformations. We'll get into other things beyond just a log transform. So multiplicative inverse. I hate that word. Multiplicative inverse will be the next one we talk about, which of course is like an extreme transformation if the data is highly, highly right skewed. But yeah, so we're going to continue on that process as we go forward on the channel. All right. So I use a lot of what I learned here to find out more about Amtrak station than I ever considered. Yeah. There's some interesting data in these things. We don't really think about that much, but yeah, it's really kind of cool to figure out things. When you go into a research project or collect data on something, you often find things that you may not have thought of, which is pretty cool. It's really, really cool to do that. Sure. I want to say thank. Oh, you're welcome, Glenn. Trust me, Glenn, the thanks is all mine. Having a channel like I have and be able to help people is why I do it. So you all can have the Teslas and the nice houses and great jobs and vacations that you want. I try to make those things possible for you all, and other people too, not just me, of course. So you are very welcome. The thanks is all mine. All right. Yeah, so what else we got going on? Comments, everything in the chat. I do want to say also that I'm thinking about doing some additional type stuff in the on the channel. Some new topics going forward. I'm exploring what that might be. There are some certain things that you all have asked for that I have said I want to get to, so I'm kind of exploring those ideas now. Like I said, I have enough content and ideas to do stuff for years if I would want to. So I'll also say, not that I do it for these reasons, but the channel is getting close to 260,000 subscribers, which is, again, it's not why I do it. But I'm just saying that if you know somebody that, if you know someone that could be helped by the channel, whether it's a classmate, or a friend or colleague or whatever else, please send them a link to the channel and, they can use that as a resource. So that's why I do it, to help people. All right. Arif, what's up? Just want to say, stop by and say, go Bengals. Absolutely. Go Bengals. Hooday. Got my shirt on. If you haven't seen, living the dream right here. We are excited. We are excited here in the city of Cincinnati. For this it's one of the biggest weekends in the city's history, and it's not about just the football. It's about the identity of the city and the team. It's Cincinnati is of the size where it's almost like a large town versus a city per se. And you have blue collar sort of people and white collar people that all kind of intermix. And, so it's a great, great place, and everyone here is so excited and just so happy, So, wow, that is true. Yes, it is very big. Wow, but I can't talk too much about the Super Bowl because I will get emotional about it, and I don't do that for many things. So I'm gonna have a cup of coffee. What else is going on? What else is going on in the chat? let me know. I do want to also thank everyone for the support that's happened over the past few weeks, especially. It's really kind of picked up steam this new semester. Also, want to give a shout out to my having some growth in terms of viewership in certain parts of Africa, which is really awesome. So that's so cool to me to be able to reach people all over the world, of course, but to see like a new area kind of coming to the fore and and finding the channel and helping people out there has been fantastic. I'm just really excited to see where that goes. And yeah, it's really cool to see a new area on the analytics light up. And right now it's certain parts of Africa. So Kenya, Nigeria, places like that. And of course, South Africa. All right. Go through the chat here. What else we got going on in the chat? Did I get all these questions? Yes, not necessarily off topic. Like I say, this chat is just a chat. It's not necessarily always have to be about statistics or data science or whatever else. We can just chat about whatever else you want to talk about. That's completely fine. This is an open forum. The off-topic Super Bowl prices are crazy. Who actually goes in and watches live? Super rich people. Yeah, it's always been the case. Super Bowl ticket prices, I think right now, like all in, are like $3,500. It was higher, but look, for some people, it's like a once in a lifetime thing. So I've taken trips, in my life that overall have cost that much money in terms of plane tickets and travel and hotels or Airbnbs and events to go to that have cost that much. So for some people, it's just sort of a chance of a lifetime to go. The ticket prices are also just supply and demand. And right now, because it's in Los Angeles, it's obviously in an area where there's money to be had. And of course, that helps drive up the prices too. But I think the ticket prices just reflect that it's more than just a game. It's like an experience. It's a once in a lifetime event, So, yeah, that's the minimum, about $3,500 to $4,000, and that will place you in the top of SoFi Stadium. Absolutely, it will. Those are in the nosebleeds, as we call them. Of course, but since it's a brand new stadium, I'm sure every seat is good. But it just depends on where it's at. Depends on the teams. It depends on other things. Plus, I think right now, because of COVID, a lot of people are just wanting to get out and experience things too. So there might be a little bit of a premium on the ticket price to just to go, just to go to something, to be quite honest. And of course, there's some, botting and scalping and stuff that drives up some of those prices too. And if you are somewhere else in the world or know of something like another sporting event that's similar, you might be able to chime in and say it's the same there. If you go to the World Cup or you go to, I don't know, Wimbledon tennis or something like that, it might be the same sort of situation. All right. Talk about the usefulness of stem and leaf plot and how they relate to histographs. Stem and leaf plots can be beneficial because not only do you get the shape of the distribution, but you also get the numbers. So, I think of a stem and leaf plot as a histogram on its side, where we have the stem and then the leaves off to the side. Well, that gives us the shape of the distribution. If we turn it 90 degrees left, it's basically a histogram, but it's also has the numbers in it. So you can see within the bins, the actual numbers that make up the bin that it's in. You don't see stem and leaf plots used a whole lot, in formal work per se. Stem and leaf plots are generally a stepping stone to learning exploratory data analysis, how we group data, how we visualize it, and can express the shape of distributions. So I would see stem and leaf as more as a heuristic, kind of a learning tool that people would learn in the beginning of exploratory data analysis, because it really kind of gets to what a histogram is. It's just a sideways histogram in many ways. And you can see the values for outliers and other things. So, all right. For your variable transformation videos, do you plan to cover PCA for variable selection? PCA, so principal components analysis, is a bit different than, at least for me, than variable transformations. So obviously PCA is a dimensionality reduction technique, or can be a way to reduce the number of dimensions in a data set, which is a bit different than a variable transformation per se. Obviously, the outcomes of PCA can become their own variables that can then be analyzed in their own right. So for me at least, PCA is a bit different than what I'm doing in the variable transformation playlist. But at some point, I hope to get to PCA and talk a bit more about it. Again, that's one of those things where there's a lot of stuff out there already, and I want to make sure that whatever it is I do, I'm adding something to it. I'm not just repeating what everyone else has done. So PCA stands for Principal Components Analysis, Glenn. And basically, it can be a way to reduce the dimensions of a data set. So it looks for principal components. It's a way you can think of as a way to sort of group things that are similar, and it reduces the number, the number of features and stuff. So it's a good technique. You will often see it, obviously in data science, statistics sometimes, depending on the level of it, and in machine learning context. It's also a good way to visualize things. So in PCA, you can actually create different graphs that look at not only the magnitude, but also the direction of each component. And you can see which component explains the most variance. So it's kind of like one of those sorts of situations. So yeah. And like George says, it's also because you're combining things into, like, this is not the correct term, Glenn, but it's like a super variable. It's like a super variable where we're kind of like putting a lot of things in there. And by doing that, we can reduce multicollinearity. So, all right. I'd like to cover some visualization tools like Tableau, Power BI, as there's less quality content in these two with respect to tutorials. Yes. So maybe I've come across some great Tableau and Power BI stuff, whether it's just on YouTube or on Udemy or just out on the web in general. There are some good things. I will say Tableau especially has some great training of their own that they do. So I'm pretty sure that's free. So if you go to Tableau's website, I think they have an entire education part of their website that actually you can walk through using Tableau Public, step by step. And it's being explained by people who work for Tableau, which is probably the best sort of situation. Power BI, I've done some Power BI tutorials and things like that, but I can't honestly exactly remember where I saw those. I know there's some on Udemy, of course, but I'm not sure if Microsoft has a correlate to the tutorials that Tableau has for their software. All right. Okay. So just a reminder, let's put this up every now and then. Super chats and PayPal tips are welcome. It does help the channel a great deal. It helps me with costs of captioning, and it pays for my coffee when I go to the coffee shop and make these videos for you. So if you have $1 or $2, feel free to put that in the super chat or on a PayPal tip jar. All right. Hello. Not sure if I've seen you here before, Sky, but welcome. I'm a chemistry teacher, want to be a data scientist. How is it possible? Well, if you're a chemistry teacher, in some ways you're already there because you are familiar with quantitative concepts. So that's some place to start. You can, if you want to be a data scientist, you can go several routes. You can be self-taught. You can self-teach yourself a lot of this stuff. This through different books, tutorials that are online, different courses you can take, and so on and so forth. Of course, you could pursue some sort of certificate program, which is like half of a master's degree. You could do something like that. There are various data science boot camps out there that are affordable, and you usually get what you pay for. So expecting to get a high quality data science certificate or something like that for free is probably not realistic. But if you're willing to invest in yourself a little bit, there are good programs out there that you can pursue, or you could actually pursue a formal education like a degree of some sort. But honestly, it's just the best way to become a data scientist is just to start doing it. So, you know, pick a software language to learn, whether it's Python or R is a good place to start. You know, grab some books, maybe get some courses, and just get a lay of the land, you know, with channels like mine and other channels that are out there for free. So you can just start with that kind of stuff. Where am I from? I am in Cincinnati, Ohio. So in the Midwest of the United States, at the meeting of the state of Ohio, Indiana, and Kentucky, right at the tri-state area where they all sort of meet. That's where I am. That's where I'm from. All right. So what else we got here? Yeah, on the I will say going back to here. So, you know, Tableau and Power BI are just a couple of those sorts of things. I will say also, if you haven't already, there are other things you can learn too potentially in the visualization space. So, in terms of creating visualizations, D3 is a great thing to learn. So a lot of the visuals you see online, either on news sites or whatever else, a lot of those are built with D3. So if you have some sort of familiarity with coding background, or you think you can reverse engineer how things look, D3 is a great thing to teach yourself as well. It's obviously open source and free. It's based on JavaScript. But the way D3 works is you don't need to know how to do a whole lot of JavaScript proper. You just have to learn the D3 part that references the underlying JavaScript. So, you know, you can try that in the visualization space. Obviously, R and Python have their own visualization packages. So in Python, maybe something like Seaborn. Of course, in R, ggplot, you can learn those as well. That could be another place to start, you know, in addition to Tableau and Power BI and stuff along those lines. So just kind of pick the space you want to go into, and, you know, pick a skill that you think might be valuable either in your current or future, you know, job search, or just something you're doing for fun. But I just want to come back to this comment because we do tend to think when we say the word visualization, Tableau, Power BI, and so forth. But, you know, the programming languages and D3 do similar things. And I'm sure there are other ones out there too, you know. So yeah, if someone has a comment that I put up on the screen and you have, you know, knowledge or experience on that, please respond in the comments to their comment, and I can put that comment up on the screen and we can talk about that. So, you know, if you have experience on those sort of tools, help out your fellow viewers here, and I'll put it up on the screen for everyone to see. So, all right. Well, thank you very much for your valuable guidance. Oh, you're very welcome, and trust me, the thanks is all mine. Like I always say, you know, I do this to help you live the life you want and get the job you want, whatever else it might be, and be a happy person. So that's why I do it, and all the thanks is all mine. All right. So, but you're welcome. You're very welcome. Okay. Going back through the comments here. Let's see what else we got. Dun, dun, dun. I think I've gotten to most of the comments or questions that you all have sort of put forward. I'm not going to pull your teeth, but if we don't have too many comments or questions, I will probably go ahead and end the stream early, because I don't want to sit here and just babble and take up your valuable times. I know you have things to do and I have things to do. I will point out a couple other things. Where did it go? I don't think I have it down here. I'm sorry. So I might save that for a different stream. All right. But, okay. So if you have any last minute comments or questions, now is the time. I don't want to sit here and just try to fill time for you all. So I have things to do. I know you do too. So make sure you put those in there. Like I said, the next stream will be in 2 weeks, barring anything weird that happens. I will be traveling at that time. So I assume I'll be able to do a rudimentary stream from where I'm at. If I'm not, then you won't see the event pop up on LinkedIn or on YouTube. So, would you be okay if I shared the link to my presentation on Wednesday? Do you mean in this chat, Glenn, or shared it with me like one-on-one, or what? So yeah, if Glenn, the answer is yes to either one. So, you can share it here with everyone, or you can share it with me, or both, whatever you want to do. Yeah, it's an open space to share it. And if you want to get some comments, of course, sure. Let's see here. Awesome sauce. I'm not sure about that. I'm probably full of barbecue sauce, but I'm not sure about awesome sauce. But thank you very much. Left the question on LinkedIn. Okay, I can check that. Check that. All right. Portland. Houday. So, JMC, I might want to talk to you at some point about Oregon. That's a place I thought about living at some point in my life, and you might have some insight into sort of I guess it's I-5, right? That goes through places that are pretty cool. I'm not talking anytime like imminently soon, but at some point in my life in the next few years, I might move out that way. All right. Yeah, Glenn, you can share that in the chat. Feel free to share it anywhere you want. Of course, just be in mind that these are public comments and public, things like that. So make sure that you're comfortable with that. Next time I will be online. So in terms of a live chat, sort of in terms of a live stream, as of right now, it'll be 2 weeks from today. So I live stream every 2 weeks, depending on things that go on, if at all possible. If something comes up and I can't, then I will not. But every 2 weeks. So as of right now, to be Saturday, February 26th will be the next live stream. What else we got here? Oh, yes, I'm very much happy to see you online on live chat. Absolutely. I know I can't make as many videos as I would like to, because obviously that takes hours and hours and hours of preparation and recording and editing and stuff like that. I've said this before, but for every minute of video you see on my channel, that took an hour to create. So if the video is 20 minutes long, then you can estimate that video in total took 20 hours to make. From conception, thinking about it, to jotting down notes, to putting the PowerPoint together, to doing all the visuals, to doing all the math and double checking the math, all that, then recording it and then editing it and then uploading it and all that kind of stuff. It's about an hour per minute is the best estimate. So I bring that up because I know I can't make as many videos as I would like or you would like. So the live stream is a way for me to talk with you live in person to make up for the fact that I cannot create as much content as I would really like to for you. So that is that's part of why I do it, and it's good to talk to you all. I like to know how you're all doing. I like to know where you all are from. I like to know what's going on in your life. I like to know what projects you're working on, your successes, your challenges, and the live stream helps me do that. So, all right. Anytime I'm thinking about moving to Cincinnati, let's speak. Absolutely. I can tell you all about the Cincinnati area in great detail. So maybe you can tell me about Oregon. we can trade Oregon for Cincinnati information. All right. Robert, thanks for coming by. It's good to see you. Good morning from Albuquerque, New Mexico. Another beautiful place, New Mexico. I've never been in New Mexico, but I would love to go to New Mexico. There's some just beautiful parts of the Southwest, New Mexico, of course. And yeah, I'd love to go there sometime. But Robert, thank you so much for coming by the stream. It's great to have you. Let's see, question on LinkedIn. What are the top 5-6 themes that would be in a high-level product focused technical interview? Well, I can kind of guess, because this is obviously not something I do day to day. And, I'm not a recruiter or a hiring person for these sorts of things. But what I can tell you from what I sort of see on LinkedIn Of course, in technical interviews, you're going to have technical questions. You might even have technical, I would imagine you will have, in addition to technical questions, you might have to actually, review code or write your own code, or whatever else that might be. That kind of speaks for itself, right? I mean, you either know what you're doing in terms of the sort of the coding aspects of things, or you don't. But I also think when you're talking about a product, a high-level product technical interview, it's also important to know the product side. So, the product life cycle, a little bit of product management, a little bit of product marketing, if you want to know about the well-roundedness of the product. And every company is going to be different. For some, that kind of stuff will be important. For others, it won't be that important. It really just depends on what you're going for. But I think any general interview, the main thing is to show your value to the company you're applying for, not accept anything less than what you think your value is worth. You have to be willing to do that too. But also just understand how you fit in and how you can contribute to that company or that product's growth and improvement over time. So it's just about doing some research, and being prepared for that technical interview. You can also reach out to individuals who work there or who have worked there, or other people who have or recently have gone through these sort of technical interviews. LinkedIn is obviously the best one to do that. And you can find resources there. You can ask in forums or ask individuals there. When you ask people things, just be mindful of their time, because if you ask someone a question and it takes them 15 minutes to respond to your question, you're getting 15 minutes of their time for free. So try to keep any questions, short and brief, and people are more likely to respond. All right. Let's see here. I'm starting with A/B testing, data cleaning. What will be the best return on investment of your time, I assume, if I had a few days to get ready? Honestly, if you only have a few days to get it ready, then I would just focus on being able to discuss it, the discussion part of it. So, A/B testing is obviously, I think A/B testing is pretty self-explanatory. Data cleaning is a huge topic. So in terms of, looking for outliers in variables, looking for nans, in different variables, recoding variables potentially. There's all kinds of things in the area of data cleaning that you could sort of get into. But I think I would focus on broad themes. So why data clean? What's the most efficient way to do it? What are ways to clean data without introducing new problems into the data? How does it make certain algorithms or whatever run better? What can happen if the data isn't cleaned properly? And how does that affect the company's performance and bottom line or customers? So it's not about the thing of data cleaning or A/B testing, but also the context around that. In my 2 cents is that a lot of the things we look at right now, like machine learning and stuff like that, we're going to be we're already there in some aspects where all this is automated. So we already have systems, and we're going to have them even more soon, where an auto ML system will be able to, ingest data, try various models, tune the hyperparameters on models, and can do all that automatically. But you, as the data scientist or the business analyst or the product manager, whatever else, have to then be able to interpret what it is saying. So I think that's sort of where we're going. A lot of this is going to be automated. So understanding how it works and then being able to communicate what the output is to stakeholders, to be able to quantify, if a model gives this sort of output, then how do we turn that into a recommendation? What would be the effect on either cost savings or optimization of supply lines or optimizations of whatever else, increased revenue, whatever else. So these things are what they are, but why we do them, how they benefit the company, how we can do them efficiently and effectively without introducing new problems is that next step to talk about in interviews. So, all right. That went longer than I thought. Okay. Oh, thank you. You're very welcome. I hope I did the best I could. The thing about live streams is you just kind of like do the best you can to answer questions. You don't always have the best answer in the moment. And of course, like in an hour, I'll think of a better answer. But that's the way things work, and that's the way life works. Oh, Glenn, thank you, my friend. Yeah, appreciate that super chat. Hey, that is 2 cups of coffee right there. So think about this. 2 cups of coffee will keep me in like a Starbucks or a Barnes & Noble or something working for like hours. So $5 goes a long way when you're sitting in coffee shops doing work for many hours. So thank you very much, Glenn. I appreciate that. I'm very happy for your continued success in the projects you're working on. It's awesome to see you doing great things. And I do appreciate your support, as I have for a long time now. So thank you, Glenn. All right. Okay. Any last questions? We've gone for 40-something minutes now, and I want to make sure I respect your time. And, I'm going to get on with my day as well. So I'll go for another minute or so if there aren't any sort of new questions. Yes, so make sure you check out the new video I released this week on log transforms. I'll continue that process as I go and as time permits. And so I'm going to wrap up this the live stream, I think, and get ready with the rest of my day and get ready for Super Bowl. The Super Bowl tomorrow. Can't believe I'm actually saying our home team is in the Super Bowl. I can't even believe I'm actually saying that. So anyway, I want to thank you all for spending your valuable time with me and coming by the stream to chat with me. And you all are doing fantastic. You are all just wonderful people, and just keep working hard, and you will achieve the things you want to achieve. And I'll be there to help you along the way as the best I can. So I hope you have a great and fantastic rest of your day. And assuming everything works out, I will see you again in 2 weeks, and the Cincinnati Bengals will be Super Bowl champions. So have a good day, take care, and bye-bye, my friends.